Michael, first, congratulations on really a terrific outing on Friday night against the Dodgers. Now that you've had a day or two to sit with it, review it, how do you sum up what you did on Friday?
Yeah, it was good. I felt really good. Honestly, I just feel like I commanded everything well. Was able to change up speeds, change up locations really well, and then I just was able to keep them off balance. And with such a good lineup like that, that's the name of the game. They definitely hit mistakes, but I think that even the few mistakes that I made, I was able to vary the speeds, and it just kept them a little bit off balance. So then the contact that was put in play was soft and gave our stellar defense the time to get it.
You mentioned varying the speeds. One pitch that Mike Schilt talked about after the game was your changeup. You got a lot of swing and miss on that changeup on Friday night. That pitch in particular, what worked so well?
Honestly, it's how I set it up. I think that I have a lot of confidence in my changeup in any count, but I think that if I just go to it the whole time, then obviously it becomes more predictable. Me being able to locate, especially down and away to lefties and then into lefties with the fastball allows me to expand with the changeup. So I can kind of tunnel it off of the fastball down and away and get the chase off the plate. But if I'm commanding the four seam into them, then they have to respect something in. And now that 86 away looks even slower and gets them way out front.
After the game on Friday night, you mentioned the communication with Luis Campusano being really, really good. When you talk about communication, being on the same page with your catcher, I'm curious, what does that mean exactly? Does it mean you're just thinking the same thing as far as pitches, what you're talking about inside the dugout? What does that really mean?
Yeah, we obviously we've seen the Dodgers so many times and he's caught so many games against them. So it's easy for me to trust him because he's seen so many pitches and sequences behind the plate against them. And then we had our pregame meeting, but then honestly it was in between innings. I love having communication with my catcher, and a lot of times it's just like what we want to do first pitch to a guy, and then usually how he takes or swings at that pitch, it sets up the rest of the at-bat. But I felt like we were on such a good page that we actually went over full sequences. And we'd say, hey, if I execute this and he swings at this, we're going to go to this. If he takes this, then we're going to go to that. And then we went out there, and it was just like almost like I was throwing a bullpen because we had a script of what we wanted to do. And because we've seen them so many times, we were able to know their takes and what they're going to look for next. But then also, if we saw any type of an adjustment as to what we were looking for, I felt like we were right on the same page. Like, oh, he took a good swing at this. I don't want to go back to that. And we'd come into the dugout and talk about it and say the exact same thing. So it just seemed like we were really on the same page. And it makes it so much easier to pitch out there, and you get in a rhythm, and you just have that full faith in your catcher, and it was really fun to work with him.
We're joined by Padres pitcher Michael King right now on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. One more question on facing this Dodger lineup. The names at the top, well, we know them, they're impressive. Betts, Ohtani, Freeman. When you have to face those guys in succession, are you thinking about it as the start goes along, like, okay, here's the part of the order, big three are coming up, got to be careful, or is that something that doesn't even really register as you're out there?
It definitely registers, and I definitely know all of them well. They have had their fun against me, so it was good to have a good one the couple days ago. But it's a point of emphasis to make sure that you handle the bottom part of their lineup. You do not want runners in scoring position with Mookie, Ohtani, Freeman, Smith coming up. So I definitely think about where we are in the lineup, and then the main thing is trying to see if we're seeing adjustments of their approach at bat to at bat. And obviously you can't just throw the exact same sequence to Mookie Betts 3-4 straight times. Right. But there are certain pitches that I like to go to, and I don't want to then eliminate that because I went to it in the first at bat. So there are times where you have to trust your eyes and trust the communication with the catcher to see if he is also seeing the same thing. Like, I don't think he's going to adjust on this, or hey, let's throw this pitch, and even if it's a ball, we can see how he's taking it, how he's offering at it, whatever it is. And then it just becomes that cat and mouse game, which I think is the best part of baseball, and figuring out if you can see the adjustment and go to a new sequence, or continue that same sequence until they adjust.
Let's get off baseball a little bit. Obviously, you got married during the off season. You're still pretty new here to San Diego. I'm just curious, so far, your impressions of San Diego, any go-to spots you have so far?
I don't know if I have any go-to spots, but it was funny. I was actually just out in the outfield talking to Paxton. He was a teammate of mine with the Yankees, and he asked how I was liking it, and I said, it's totally different than New York. And he's like, oh, yeah, totally. But my biggest thing about San Diego is it feels almost like vacation when I'm off the field. In New York, you're grinding the whole time. You're in the thick of Manhattan, and obviously there's some energy and some fun to that, but it's great to decompress from the field and go home to almost like a beach house, and it feels like you're on vacation. So it's awesome off the field, and then on the field, I was shocked to see how much the fans show out here. It's an electric atmosphere, even on like a Tuesday against the Reds. Like, we are packing out, and it's a great atmosphere while we're here. So definitely feels like some good baseball here.
As somebody who grew up in New York, I totally get what you mean, feeling like you're on vacation. There are times I'm just driving around here where I'm like, man, this is nice here. This is a nice place to live. Again, we're joined by Padres pitcher Michael King. It is Mother's Day. I wanted to give you an opportunity to just talk about your mom, the impact on your career, your life, and growing up.
Yeah, she was definitely my number one fan from the start. I know she misses me because we're all the way across the country now, and I obviously miss her and her love, but I'm feeling it all the way across the country. I can't wait for her to come out here. She's going to come out at the end of May. And I can't wait to show her my new home right now, because this park is special. So I'm super grateful for everything she's done, but I can't wait to see her.
I'll sneak in one more baseball question just because you've talked about the ballpark and all of it. As far as this team as a whole, it feels like you're playing some good baseball right now, an opportunity today to win another series. As a whole, how do you feel about this group right now?
It's definitely a winning group. You look at the lineup, and I know we're just so complimentary of the Dodgers, but you think about going through our lineup 1 through 5, it's just as hard. And then when we have 6 through 9 showing out, we got the bells going on now. But when we have 6 through 9 showing up, this lineup is really, really tough. And I think we're starting to come together as a starting rotation. I love the guys that we have, so it's a very fun team to be a part of. And there's just so much energy to the team, and you know that even if you're down by a few runs, we're never out of it. And it's a really fun team to be a part of, and I can't wait to see where this year takes us.
Michael, great stuff as always. Very much appreciate the insight on your last start and everything else. And you're right, when the public address announcer starts talking, that means you got to go. I got to go too. I got to get on the air. Thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.